Hello, my name is Palma Accardi, and you are watching Tidal Flooding Talk. We're filmed live at the Irish Pub in Atlantic City.
And it's Sunday evening, not Tuesday evening. You don't have to check your calendar or iPhone or whatever. We have a day change for now. Sunday night, 7 p.m., same place, same topic, same hosts. And most weeks we'll have a guest, but for the first Sunday that we're here, we're actually bringing you, kind of an interactive show. We're going to invite you to kind of join in our conversation about emergency storm checklists.
Yes, we'll be talking about an emergency weather kit as well as the first aid kit as well. So if you have any items that are in your first aid kit or emergency weather kit that we won't be talking about, then you're welcome to comment or ask questions as usual.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something that we should have on hand. I mean, every resident of the shore, everyone who visits the shore, because visitors can get hit by hurricanes too when they're down here. You want sunny weather, but storms can hit 365 days a year, from nor'easters in the winter to hurricanes in the summer. So you do want to have a kit on hand in your home, technically in your workplace, and even in your car as well. We're going to focus on the home kit today, but it's something you should have on hand really throughout the year, not just hurricane season, not just nor'easter season, and it's something that should be refreshed every year as well.
Right, and I do think we have to remember, and we're often reminded, that flooding is the most common natural disaster, so it would make sense to be prepared for one.
It would, and we've learned over the past 5-6 years, I mean, for the derecho, which wasn't flooding, it was a wind event. Emergency kits came in handy. For Sandy, for Jonas, for Irene, for nor'easters, that was a little less wind, a little more storm surge and flooding. Emergency kits came in handy. And technically, you have your non-weather events too. We've had a couple earthquakes, nothing serious, but there are other events that go on, or just a power outage as well. These things come in handy, and everyone should have them on hand, but not every home does. In fact, many homes do not. So it's something that, especially if you live along the coast, everyone should have. That's where flooding's a little more likely to occur. But really, every home should have an emergency kit on hand.
Right, and luckily, they're not costly. Most of the items that we're showing you are about $1. You can go to the dollar store and pick them up. But every household is different, so you might have unique items. If you have pets, babies, seniors, or whatever the case, every household will have a necessity for different items.
And we've learned, too, that, through Sandy, there were people without power for a week after the storm. For the derecho, it was over 10 days. And, I mean, no electricity these days. I mean, when your power goes out for a couple of hours, it's frustrating, it's inconveniencing. Imagine days or weeks. And in the worst-case scenario, it could really be a month of no power. So these items, help you kind of weather the aftermath of the storm. Of course, ideally, if a storm comes and it's really bad, everyone evacuates. But we know, we've talked about in past shows, not everyone evacuates. So if you are dead set on staying, you should absolutely have an emergency kit on hand.
Absolutely. And you can make them portable too. So if you are advised, get out, go somewhere else, then you could always bring your kit with you.
Right. So again, if you have any items that we don't go over that you think you have in your kit, or you think you should have in your kit, feel free. And I'm going to put one that I'm not sure if we have here right now, but just because you're probably watching us on your iPhones or laptops, and a power pack for your devices so you can get information. So, I mean, they sell portable power packs and Staples. That is basically an extra battery for your phone, for your laptop, so you can stay in touch with the outside world. And if you don't have a portable pack, then you have something handy, and this is an antique.
It is. You can still hear President Nixon on the other end.
So yeah, a portable transistor radio, because obviously radio, stays on the air during bad storms, and a portable radio, your car radio, definitely you want to be able to be in touch and get the information. So you want to have as much, of a power supply as you can for your devices, or a battery-operated radio, and therefore batteries as well. Something else you should have on hand too. So again, because staying informed, I think, and getting the information, after a storm, absolutely important.
And they will be updating you whether there's a flash flood warning or just a watch, and maybe Dan, you could tell us the difference.
Yeah, I mean, staying informed during the storm. Yesterday, in fact, actually, if you lived in Atlantic, Cape May, Cumberland counties, your phone probably lit up with a flash flood warning. I think it was in effect for a lot of the area. Parts of Cumberland County got 4 or 5 inches of rain. A watch, whenever a watch is issued, it means basically you should watch out in a few hours for some potential weather. We're under a flood watch for tonight, meaning tonight there could be some flooding. When a tornado watch is issued, it doesn't mean a tornado is coming. It means hours from now, a couple tornadoes could form. So a watch means prepare and pay attention to a future forecast. When a warning is issued, that means it's happening. It's imminent, a storm's coming, a tornado's on the ground, flooding is occurring, a hurricane's coming. So warnings are when you want to act. A watch, prepare. A warning is when you want to act, and that's a difference. And a lot of people don't know the difference between the two. You see tornado watch on your phone. You don't focus on the word watch. You focus on the word tornado. Right. It's the same thing. Flash flood, you see that. Hurricane, you see the big word, but obviously watch and warning, definitely important to distinguish between what's happening.
Okay, so I think one of the more important things to have in your kit is, of course, drinking water. And they do say you should have 1 gallon of water per day per person. So keep that in mind. It does sound like a lot of water, but you need water to survive.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you may not have drinking water after storms. Electricity goes out, water can go out, so you definitely want to have cases or gallons of water. If you're a typical family of 4 gallons a day times a week, that's 28 gallons of water. It sounds like a lot, but you keep it tucked away in your garage, in your basement, wherever, and you have it, and you'd be surprised how tough it is without water.
And according to the Red Cross, you should have supplies for at least 3 days to keep yourself afloat.
And I think that's reasonable because, worst case scenario, you could be stuck for more than 3 days. But in most storms we see, typical nor'easters, hurricanes, it's a couple of days you can be without power. So 3 days, I think, is a good rule of thumb. Not only drinking water as well, but potable water.
Potable water, yep. So basically, if your sewer system goes out, that water can be used to flush your toilet. You just dump it in the toilet and you're able to flush.
And it's important to have a flushing toilet as well, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Not everyone has outhouses or porta potties nearby, So a flushing toilet, obviously, important thing to have as well. All right. Obviously, water is half the equation. Food is another vital thing you need to survive after a storm.
Right, so obviously non-perishable foods would be ideal. So we have a fruit cocktail here and some tuna.
And I think any canned goods, whatever floats your boat, whether it's baked beans or like vegetables to fruit or tuna, you do want to have that. And in case they're not all, pop top, you want to have a non-electric, handheld can opener to open them up as well, or else you'll be in a pickle.
And so we also have here a flashlight. If the electricity goes out, you won't have lights.
And on that note too, candles.
Oh yeah, we do have a candle here too. So.
Now, some say candles are fire hazards, and they can be, but flashlights, candles, some source of illumination, because if there is no power, let's say on the wall of Absecon Island, I mean, nights in the summertime are short after a hurricane, but it's going to get dark. So yeah, obviously you want some sort of light source. Now, more and more homes nowadays are getting generators, which obviously still have the flashlight on hand. Lots of gas to power the generator. We are becoming a little more self-sufficient by the popularity and availability of home generators now, but a lot of homes don't. Does yours?
Mine does not have a generator yet, but I will get one.
So the light source is absolutely helpful.
But what I do have are the flameless candles.
And those are the ones the fire departments like a little more. Yeah, absolutely.
So they exist too.
So yeah, and like the water, food should be a 3-day supply as well. So 3 days is your standard. If it is your absolute worst case scenario, you're going to need more than that. But then again, you only have so much space to build a kit, so you're not going to prepare for a 40-day flood and pack Noah's Ark. So 3 days, as you said, is a good rule of thumb for how much you should have on hand for preparation.
Yeah, and I'm an animal lover, so I will say don't forget about your pets. They will need food and water too in case of an emergency.
They will. And not only food and water, but medication, which we'll talk about, for people as well, but some dogs or cats or birds or snakes or whatever you have, they're a part of the family. And one of the big problems with Irene, the first hurricane we had, was people didn't want to evacuate because they didn't want to leave their animals. They're a member of the family. So you do want, to bring food, water, and medication, or have food, water, medication for your animals for at least 3 days as well.
Right, and you should update your kit at least once a year. Make sure the food's not expiring. Make sure, the bandages are still sticky.
Are these still sticky?
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. This is our show and tell kit from 1950 something, but hasn't been updated. So we're telling you to update it a little more frequently.
Yeah, we also.
So obviously, prescription medication is important, but first aid kit as well, because you never know, what type of stuff you're going to get into after a storm, and people may be in need of first aid. So in a typical first aid kit, what do we have?
Yeah, we also have, the bandages, Neosporin, lots of goodies here. I don't know if our Facebook viewers know, but we're asking you to comment anything unique that is in your kit that we don't have here.
And how many of you actually have a kit? Because I know a lot of people don't. It's recommended you do, but a lot of coastal residents do not have kits, thinking, all right, well, it's nice. They don't think ahead of time, but it comes in handy when those storms do hit. Where are you going to go? You're going to go to the house with the generator. You're going to go to the house with the water. You're going to go to the people that are prepared. So, preparation is key, and it's never too early or in the season to prepare, and it's something you should have on hand all the time.
And if it's not summertime, it may be very cold if there is a power outage, so you should also have a warm blanket handy, maybe a few for you and your family.
Yeah, we saw that with, there was a blizzard, a nor'easter, back in February 2010. And it hit Cape May County really hard. Power went out because of the heavy weight of the snow. There was tidal flooding with that storm as well, but it was so cold and no power for a lot of people equals no heat. So, blankets and a heat source, absolutely key. It's tough to provide a cooling source necessarily. You can't bring a portable air conditioner unless you have a generator or whatnot. But heat you can provide through blankets and extra layers and so on and so forth. So very good advice.
Yeah. And make sure your family is well aware about your kit and, make a plan with your family. Keep your kit in a designated area so everyone in your family knows where they can access it. And of course, you want to be able to bring it with you anywhere. So that's important too.
Including your car. If you are able to get out and something happens to you on the way, go in the trunk, open it up, and have the kit in your car as well. A few other things. something to signal for help, like a whistle, an old-fashioned pea whistle is big. If you are stuck and you're trying to gather people's attention, if you don't have a cell phone signal, you can't call for help. Whistle is something that boaters use, but they also advise you having your kid as well, something like that to signal for help. Also, tools. Because if you do have to shut off your utilities after a storm, like a wrench, like a screwdriver, so on and so forth, tools very important to turn off gas lines, to turn off water, to keep your property safe in case there are gas leaks, in case there are leaks in your property. That happens after storms. So to have just the basic tools on hand. You don't need a whole toolbox or a whole tool shed, but just your basic tools that can perform those functions on your property.
And if you do evacuate and you notice that there are flooded waters on your street or wherever, turn around, don't drive through them. Even half a foot of moving water can sweep away your car.
Absolutely. And, flooding is, and water is the most deadly part of these storms. So we're talking about hurricanes, nor'easters. A lot of people think it's the wind. It's not. It's the water that kills, that hurts more people every year, more so than the wind. So that's just something to keep in handy. Matches are good. So a book of matches, a box of matches, something to provide, light and, heat if you have a wood stove or something like that. So yeah, waterproof matches and keep them dry, because if you have flooding in that, you want to make sure you want to keep all this stuff dry as well. And then in addition to the radio, a lot of people use cell phones for information, but the cell signal can go down in storms. So what NOAA actually has, the National Weather Service, is they have a battery-operated weather alert radio. I have 4 of them, and it drives my wife and my family crazy because they go off really, really loud when warnings are issued, but it's something that you don't need a signal for. So if the cell phone service is out, your weather radio still works, still provides information. It is battery-operated. I want to say you can get them at Radio Shack, but I don't think Radio Shack's there anymore, right?
I haven't seen a Radio Shack.
I think they shut down
here anymore.
But you
I'm
can
sure
get
Amazon
them.
Or
yes,
somewhere like
they're like $30. Mariners have them, and it's cell service can go down, but these battery-operated radios, radio stations in general stay on the air, and this NOAA radio is a great thing that a lot of residents, coastal residents, should have as well.
Yeah, because in that situation, I think it would be even more scary if you didn't know what was going on or you weren't informed. So to spend $30 or something on something like that, it's a good investment. Everything else here is $1 each. So.
Yep. Dollar stores are popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go too far nowadays in South Jersey to really get most of your kit relatively cheaply, and it keeps you safe after the worst happens.
And like I said before, flooding is the most common natural disaster, and it's the most costly. So you might actually want to have a camera, too, to take pictures of any damage that occurred.
Cell phone camera works. And do people have regular cameras anymore?
No, but they do sell them. My grandmom gets them every year for a Christmas party. So
all right.
They do have them
either
at
the disposable
CVS.
ones
Yep.
or okay. All right.
Yeah. So again, we're brought to you by the New Jersey Coastal Coalition. We are now going to have Tidal Flooding Talk on Sunday nights, still at the Irish Pub at 7 p.m. So you're welcome to join us. I'm not sure if anyone commented any of their items that they.
They did. I've been neglecting all our viewers. So Tracy Ann chimes in charcoal for a grill, which is a great idea.
Definitely.
Because if you do have a gas grill or a charcoal grill or something like that, that helps. Maybe fruit cocktails, maybe not that appetizing, but if you have something you can grill, sure, absolutely. So that's a great suggestion, Tracy. Let's see. Jerry Schaefer says we have a guy staying at the Irish Pub, Gary Grant, who rode out Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. So we'll have to maybe track down Gary Grant afterwards if he's staying here. Because Maria, they still don't have power across parts of Puerto Rico. So we're talking 3 days. This has been like 8 months in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I was actually just in Puerto Rico, and weekly their power goes out from time to time, so that's scary. He mentioned he's staying here. I think the Irish Pub Inn is now open for reservations, so that's exciting.
It is. You can kind of tell it's summer. You can see a little more of a crowd here. We like to think they're all here for Tidal Flooding. I don't think everyone is, but you know, you can come on down still. It's Sunday night, 7 p.m., same time, same great food and drink, and same great conversation. And we will have guests here most weeks. Jennifer Reed suggests waterproof matches, so absolutely very important to have. And this is something too Jennifer suggests, which we forgot. All important documents as well, like, you know, passports or social security cards, or ways to identify yourself in Ziploc bags and know where they are to grab an emergency. That's absolutely important to have.
Very smart. Thank you.
Let's see what else. Kelly Arisman has a whistle. Not a lot of people do, but whistles are great to have. Fire extinguishers in case something does happen with the candles or whatever. Absolutely, most homes do have fire extinguishers. Let's see. Candles. I think we have a lot of it covered. Generators the way to go, says Kelly. Someone, I'll say, an anonymous person says guns for looters. I don't think that's a mandatory part of any emergency kit. Roger, I'll shout you out, but yeah, it's something that we're not going to add to the list necessarily.
No comment on that.
Yeah, no comment. Bill says soup might be a little more appetizing
yeah,
than
I
cocktail.
think so.
Canned soup, absolutely. So, and then pain relievers like aspirin. I think we went over, and you know, everything you think you need for at least 3 days. And I think this is a start. And I love your additions that you guys added too.
Thank you for joining us again. We'll be here every Sunday night at the Irish Pub in Atlantic City at 7 p.m.
And I think the gentleman who brought all this kit in, he'll be the recipient of our T-shirt today. He'll remain anonymous, all right? But we thank him. It's a trip down memory lane. I think some of this stuff's antique. It can be used to fund Tidal Flooding Talk. Actually, a lot of pawn shops in Atlantic City. We'll have to see what we can get for this. Pepto-Bismol from expiration date.
There has to be a date on
March 1990. So you do want to update your kits a little more often than this.
At least once a year.
Yeah. So once every 18 years old. All right. But and it shows you the importance, because let's say you need Pepto-Bismol after a hurricane. You know, you're out of luck if you don't update your kits to keep the medication active and up to date. All right.
Good
so
night,
with that little bit of humor,
everyone.
good night,
Thank
everyone.
you.
We'll hope to see you back here next Sunday evening, 7 p.m. And it's Sundays throughout the summer. So thanks for joining us.